Hello YouTube. In this video I'm going to target more of the radio programmers and ham operators that have Wouxuns, Baofengs, Kenwoods, Motorola's, all kinds of different radios that use the PL2303 programming cable, which is this particular cable right here. You got the two prongs that go into the controller port and the audio port that give you access to the radio's brain or memory to be able to read and write to the built-in EEPROM to program the rig. This is a known problem for Windows Vista 7, 8, and 8.1 that whenever you plug in the cable, it either A, has no drivers, or B, whenever it downloads drivers from Windows Update, it is completely the wrong driver and absolutely will not assign a COM port to the cable and work. So to fix this issue, I'm going to post a link in the description below the video, and it'll give you a direct download link to go download the actual driver that you need from me. No worries, no viruses or anything like that in it. And this driver will work in Vista all the way up to 8.1. I haven't really tested it in 8.1, but I know it'll work, and if it'll work in 8, it should technically work in 8.1. No real guarantee there. If you're running Windows XP, the driver that it installs works just fine and you won't have any problem. Okay, so in order to get this driver, the first thing you want to do is go download it. And whenever you get ready to download it and you click on the link, it should pop up with the save as or download box or whatever it pops up whenever you're using your browser, be it Internet Explorer, Firefox, Opera, whatever it is. I'm using Google Chrome here. It'll come up with the USB Vista 09. That is the driver you want to download. Okay, and the first thing that we want to do is go ahead and bring up, or the next thing we want to do is go ahead and bring up our control panel. So just right click on computer, click properties, and then you're going to go to device manager, and you see the one here that says ports, COM, and LTP. If you don't have that ports one, don't worry, it'll pop up after you plug in the cable and everything and get the driver set up. So once you get device manager up and you're looking at the ports, you need to plug the cable in, and it's going to give you an error sound like you plug something into the USB port, how you normally get the sound. Well, it's going to give you an error sound right after it plays the sound that the hardware was hooked up. And there it was. So now you're going to see other device, USB serial controller. Now, if you are running Windows XP, again, you're not going to have to worry about it. You can download and install this driver, but you're going to have to install it in compatibility mode. It may not install right, but it's a newer driver than what XP is actually going to use. If you're running Windows Vista to Windows 8.1, you should be able to install from this driver, but on Vista to Windows 7, you can just run the driver as it is and be able to install. Now, if you're running Windows 8 and 8.1, you're probably going to have to come to this driver file in your downloads folder, right click it, click properties, and then click the compatibility tab, hit run this program as administrator, and you're going to select either Windows Vista Service Pack 2 or Windows 7, and make sure you select the privilege run as administrator, click apply, and click OK. Now, if you're doing this in Vista and 7, like I said, you're going to be able to just run it as it is. I'll go ahead and close my browser out here. You're going to be able to run it exactly as it is, and it'll install and run just fine. So whenever the installer comes up, on the first screen for the setup, you're going to hit next. On the second one, hit I accept, next. Then it's going to go through the install process. Now you see the device manager flash. Now you can click finish. And at this point, it's still not going to show you the port down here in the port section. You're going to have to unplug the cable, plug it back in, and now it'll play the proper sound, plus it installs the proper driver, which is the prolific USB to serial COMM port. And you notice it says COMM 5. Whenever it assigns a COMM port, the proper driver is installed, you're set up and ready to go. If it does not say COMM 5 or anything like that, it hasn't assigned a COMM port and you're not good to go. Now, like I stated earlier, if it installed a updated driver or installed a driver from Windows updates, whenever you install that proper driver, you're going to have to come back to it. And even if, like how it showed the other and an improper device, improper serial device, you're going to right click on it, or if it does show it down here but it doesn't have the COMM port, you're going to right click on that device and go to properties, go to driver, and you see how this one shows driver version 3.2.0.0. if you have this version or lower, it will work just fine and assign the COMM port. If you have anything newer than this version, you're going to have problems and it's probably not going to work right. Now, if you have the multiple drivers installed and it has the updated driver, it'll have this rollback driver right here lit up, and you can click on that and roll it back to 3.2.0.0 or lower, and then click apply, click OK, and it'll apply that new driver. You'll probably have to unplug the cable and plug it back in again to get it to take off with that driver, but as soon as it comes back up and it shows that it has a COMM port assigned, you are ready to program. Now, mine defaulted to COMM 5. Yours might default to COMM 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll default to whatever number it needs to. You're going to have to remember that COMM number, because that is what you're going to tell the software to program the radio to use for communications with the radio. That is pretty much everything to get in the proper driver. Again, I'm supplying the driver to you. It does not have viruses or anything in it. I'm not supplying any other software. Most of the software is proprietary and requires licensing agreements and everything else. So, that's a no-go. You're going to have to get your software for programming the radio from a vendor, or if the vendor or the manufacturer actually supplies the software, then you can probably go download it from them. If you're using a commercial radio, most of the commercial radio software is a little bit on the expensive side, and you're going to have to purchase it, and it is proprietary. The driver, on the other hand, is not. It's not a proprietary software. It's not a extreme hardcore licensed software, so I can supply that to you. You can download it for free. If you would like to look me up, my call sign is KD5NZL. If you know anyone that this information would help out, by all means, please feel free to direct them to my channel or any of the videos. This information is out there for absolutely everyone, and as always, watch, like, and share. Have a great day.